Welcome back to New Rockstars. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is officially out. It has come out now, and we've got some theories, sure enough to make your head spin like that helicopter that Namor took down. Seriously, how metal is this entrance? I only hope to come into the MCU throwing a helicopter over my head. This isn't the break room. This isn't something else. This isn't Talking Dragons, you guys. This is Rogue Theory, the show where we pitch the wildest theories for the nerdy titles we love. And spoiler alert, we will be talking about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So consider this your spoiler warning. I'm not giving you another one. Just be prepared. This comes out tomorrow, so you have time. Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm Jessica Clemens, and I'm hosting today's Rogue Theory because I deserve to make sure everyone go sees Black Panther. I don't know. I just deserve this. Going rogue with me today is Whitney Van Lanningham.
Hi. Can I sing you just a really quick song that I wrote?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it goes. When the guy from the sea shows the land no mercy, that's Namor.
I'm here for that. I signed that. Greenlit, Capitol Records. Get on it. Tom Michelson.
So I would do the Wakanda Forever, but maybe I need to do the Hadouken.
Yeah.
The Hadouken. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Rise to Lokon.
Rise to Lokon.
Yeah. And Zach Huddleston.
Hey, I'm Zach. Don't follow me on Twitter. I haven't tweeted in 3 years.
Perfect. Normally for Rogue Theory, we always give like a little bit of like description of who everybody is, but for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I was like, I don't think there's one I can come up with for you guys, so I'm just gonna leave them at their names.
You totally could have been like, and Whitney, who also listens to Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers when she jogs because she's white.
I could have done that, but then these two I would have been left alone with. I was like, oh, maybe I'll make them MIT professors, then I was like, I don't want them to think
I'm from the ocean, like Talokan. I'm from the Pacific, but could have been that too.
Why didn't you text me?
I
You should have texted.
That was my bad, guys.
I'm your favorite colonizer.
Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that
we
again.
got it.
All right.
Everyone is better at improvising than me. So Wakanda Forever had so many lingering details, so many open doors for Phase 5 and 6. And here at New Rockstars, we can make endless theories on all of them. So one of those theory branches I'd like to explore and get into is with my biggest theory, and my also biggest surprise for Wakanda Forever is that now ex-wife to Everett Ross, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who is now allegedly the CIA director, which is dangerous, which leads us to our first topic today, why Valentina wants that vibranium. Because in the movie, that was one of the biggest shocks for me is A, figuring out that she was once married to Everett Ross, but B, how much she impacted the whole search for the vibranium. I think ultimately she was the one that was in charge of making sure they got in the Atlantic. I think her planting those beads for Everett Ross was also just like, I need to get that vibranium. I need to get into Wakanda. I need to learn what he knows so I can get in there just to get the vibranium. So what I think this leads to is the search for the vibranium in the Atlantic Ocean was all overseen by Valentina de Allegra Fontaine. So I think Val is trying to start a vibranium sort of war, which we already kind of see in the movie where like we have the beginning with the French kind of having their own people go into the base of the Wakandans to try stealing vibranium. But I think it's also ultimately just like, that was a big thing that we should think about is the fact that you can't pick it up on like any metal detectors and it's just durable. So I think she's trying to get Riri Williams' suit, and I think she's trying to get the vibranium so she can use some sort of Stark technology and create the most indestructible weapon for the Thunderbolts. And I think this can also go across Ironheart and Armor Wars, because I don't think Valentina is done with Riri Williams. I think she's gonna keep approaching her. I think it was a smart move being like, hey, I'm not gonna steal from the child directly, I'm gonna steal from the professor. But now it's clear that she can do it all on her own, so why not try to approach her and get her in on your deal? So I think Val will be stretching this long game over Ironheart, Armor Wars when she's stealing Rhodey's machine and using Ironheart's to Thunderbolts, where they're like, hopefully we have an Iron Man vibranium suit, which is stronger than the Hulk, which is stronger than Abomination, so you wouldn't need to grab those giant big people for that team.
Wow. That is a theory. That is not just a theory for Wakanda Forever. That's one for the next five Marvel movies and shows. Man, wow.
I think it's
amazing.
I don't think people overlooked it more so. I just think that Val is dangerous. And I think we get a bigger picture of that today, where it's like, I can run circles around any person here. Like, I don't care. I'm the director of whatever it is. And so I think her having that position where she can control a fleet of like our prize soldiers to go get Wakandan vibranium is so dangerous and such a big deal.
To what end? What does she want?
I think she just wants to make that Iron Man suit. I think she wants to make that suit and she wants to make that tool
But
again.
to do what?
Oh, just to fight in the Thunderbolts.
But what does she want out of the Thunderbolts?
I don't. Well, my pitch is for getting it for the Thunderbolts, not what the Thunderbolts are doing.
Well, it's like, why do the superpowers want be the strongest anyway? You know, it's like a nuclear deterrent. You want to be the strongest. You want to be the world leader. Maybe having a suit of vibranium Iron Men for the U.S. military is the way to go.
But does it seem like she's like some kind of super patriot who wants American dominance? To me, all of her actions have always felt like she's an independent operator.
Well, she said
she's out for herself.
She said in
right?
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Remember when he was like, "Do you imagine what would happen if we
was
got a
just
hold of
gonna say
vibranium?"
that.
And
I
she's
was
like,
just
"I
gonna say
dream
that."
of it." So I think she
Yeah.
still is like, "I want to be this most strongest nation. They shouldn't be the strongest nation." And having the Thunderbolts as your army and being like, that's like what Thunderbolt Ross did with the Avengers. He's like, "I own them," but it's like, I own the Thunderbolts, which are way more smarter and tactical, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Well, granted that Thunderbolts is really far away, and this may not pan out if Val's going to be in that. But let's not forget that she could be a Skrull. Like speaking to Zach's,
you think?
Zach's. I mean, maybe that.
Do you
could
think
be a
Everett
reason
Ross
why-
was unknowingly married to a Skrull?
Oh yeah,
Or
people-
no
yeah.
way.
Maybe that's why they got divorced, because his real wife was great, and then she became a bitch when
exactly.
she became a Skrull.
Skrull was
You
a,
She got a little
changed.
bitchy.
Yeah, you changed on me, literally, figuratively.
I had like a long-term theory that, and I think a lot of people probably online agree with this, that there's a possibility that Everett Ross is Thaddeus Ross's son, and when he was married to Allegra or to Val, Thunderbolt Ross was probably more aligned with Val's mission, and probably we'll see in the future if that is true. They'll be working closer together, and then we just have Everett Ross, who's now a stowaway in Wakanda, and against them.
He'll be the second White Wolf, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was like, are they
Maybe the white pup. Yeah,
Aw,
just
the
not
white
because
pup.
he's not as nuts as
that's
Bucky.
sweet.
But that's funny. That kind of leads into something else I was thinking about, which is it's a very small part of that, but I think she would use the vibranium to get a shield for John Walker, a vibranium U.S. agent shield, because looking at
We
the
don't call
lineup.
him that on this show.
Oh, sorry.
On this show,
Johnny Mayonnaise. Johnny Mayonnaise needs the shield. But because that was one thing I think that they're going to have to, I assume they're going to bring up is because he's U.S. agent always
makes
has his
sense.
version of the shield. So now they can have a vibranium shield for him. If Red Guardian's on it, she could make a vibranium shield
I
for
like
him.
that.
There's a lot of shield people on the Thunderbolts that need weapons.
That makes more sense. I thought they were going to just follow the same mapping of the Avengers and just make an Iron Man. Just be like, here's our
I think
Iron
they could
Man.
do. Hey, Crimson Dynamo maybe is coming up.
Oh, that's
maybe they're gonna. Maybe this is they
now,
have him.
All this is to say, she did not leave this movie with any vibranium.
No.
She does not have any
No.
of this.
But it's good
Sucks
to know.
suck.
Yeah, it sucks to suck, but she does know it's in the ocean, and it's.
Yeah.
But then it's also like she doesn't know that. She doesn't know the Tolokans exist. So it's
Yeah,
But
but
she
she's
knows
gonna
she knows
get a
there's a
rude
third party out
awakening
there.
if she
But
tries
yes.
to go to the
doesn't know
ocean.
who.
Could
yeah.
you imagine if she sends the Thunderbolts to the ocean and the Thunderbolts just easily get picked off, and it's like,
Really
well,
murdered.
Great.
there goes Ghost.
Yeah.
Dude, one of the scariest moments, in my opinion, was when he was like, I have as many fighters as the blades of grass in the field. And I was just like, oh, that's actually terrifying.
Yeah.
They had great liners of how.
It's
How did they
so many
make
good
green
ones.
short shorts and wings on your ankles badass? I just
Dude.
couldn't.
the 400-year-old green short shorts,
Yes,
by the way.
man, yeah.
And now I was just thinking this. Namor is, besides the Asgardians, now that, especially since the Mandarin is dead, Namor is the oldest person on Earth.
Yeah, he's.
I mean,
hell.
person is personhood, whatever. He's a mutant. He's something else.
but he's still half human.
That's true.
I'm but as a half human being, it's like he's the oldest.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Eternals are still kind of like robots.
And how many Eternals
They're
are
not
left
full.
on the planet right now, right?
Ultimately, my theory is that I think this is gonna. I think the movie started with a vibranium war. We already saw it. That every other country was like, "Give me that damn vibranium." But I think it's not over for Val. And Val's like, "I'm gonna get my hands on that damn Val."
How do you think she does that?
I hate to say it, but I think she's gonna send the Thunderbolts, and they're gonna get killed.
Gonna get got by those mermen.
She's really smart, and she's very sneaky, and and I love how calculated Val is, but she doesn't have any other option other than sending America after the Wakandans, which is a bad idea. We'd lose. So I think she's like, I have a special team. that I think we should send in. And it's like we're going to see the Thunderbolts go against the Wakandans and Talokan, which is not a good idea at all.
I'm just imagining them showing up like all badass the Thunderbolts, and then the Talokans be like, oh, and then they just don't throw themselves off cliffs because nobody knows about that.
Dude,
humming, kill
I was
yourself.
Just thinking about how many people
weapon.
died because of a little song.
Oh my
There was
gosh.
just a little jingle playing, and
Welcome
they
to the
died.
mermaid. Welcome to the mermaid.
We got fun and games.
Those
And the
sirens.
mermaids were just like the best part of waking up, you know? Like, it was just,
And you're like, I'm going to drown
I'm
myself.
gonna
Yeah.
drown myself
I'm
now.
going to jump into the
I've
ocean.
heard the 1-800-7 or the 1-877 Cars for Kid commercial too many times. I'm gonna kill myself now.
But that was a really powerful weapon they got. Those what are the priestesses maybe? Because only certain ones can do it. Otherwise, wouldn't all of them do it?
I think all of them can do it.
Oh,
They can
there
all
you
do
I
go.
think they can all do it. I think they got it with their powers. So
Amazing.
that is my theory. That is my theory. I think it's going to start a Vibranium War. I think it's going to be hosted by Val, and she's going to lose.
Yeah.
But I think we still have to wait until over even Phase 5 to Phase 6. I think it would be the beginning of Phase 6 where she actually initiates it, because I think she's going to exhaust all of her options before she jumps right into it, because Val's not an idiot. So that's my theory. Do you guys think it's Rogus, Bogus, or Togus? What's the middle one?
Ogus. Ogus.
You invented Ogus. How do you not remember? You're the
What is it?
inventor.
Rogus, Togus, and Toga?
Rogus,
Toga.
Rogus,
Welcome to Toga Theory, guys.
Ogus.
And I invented the Ogus.
Yeah,
You did.
No, I love this. I think it's great because it definitely makes a lot of sense with what we've just seen, and it makes sense for where they could go with it. And in terms of Val having a team with guys that need vibranium weapons, and maybe wanting to get America to have vibranium, tools and weapons again. I think that this might even be setting up Black Panther 3, because Black Panther 3 is not going to be coming out for a while too. And just like you said, after Phase 6,
that'd be good.
this could be about the world coming after Wakanda. Is what I was imagining. Is that now we've had this and now they might need to actually team up with Talokan, like Namor said, which was like, hey, when they need us, they're gonna come for us. And guess what? That's when we'll be able to do what we want to do, and then it'll be kind of like a world war, vibranium world war almost. Really.
Okay, joint theory.
Yeah.
Both, they go hand in hand.
Yep.
What's that you?
I'm gonna go Rogus because I was going to say the exact same thing as you. I dream of it.
Yeah.
That's where I was like, okay,
I was
she's
like,
up to
she's a mad-
something. She's not gonna stop being up to something anytime soon.
She's a mad scientist.
She sure is.
I'm gonna, as somebody
God.
who shows up on Rogue Theory
no!
once a year or less, I'm gonna go Bogus.
I sensed it. I knew it. Zach,
Here's my thing. I want.
okay.
What's the evidence?
other than her being searching for it.
Well, because my thing is obviously she wants power. She wants to accumulate super powered individuals for Thunderbolts, but she has said so little. She's a master spy, right? There's only hints of manipulation. Most of her screen time in Wakanda Forever was spent with double entendres with her ex-husband. You know what I mean? And no agenda has been laid out. Even in the little bits we've seen her with Yelena and Johnny Mayonnaise and whatever, right? She's putting together a team for. I just haven't seen enough on screen to tell me what is she really after. And that's why I was kind of pressing you earlier. What's her end game? She wants a team for what? Right? I haven't heard her say super patriotic stuff. The U.S. needs to be a superpower.
She wants to take over the world, Zach.
Well, and I haven't heard that either, though. That's the only problem. That's the default supervillain
That's why this
stance,
is a rogue
Sure
theory,
is.
which
Hey.
Yes.
Hey. If me and Zach were on Rogue Theory and it was hosted by MT, it would be a lot of bogus. It would be a lot of
Oh my God! It's all bogus
All
to
bogus,
Zach.
all
Yeah.
Me and Zach are real.
But that's still 2 out of
dreamers.
3. You know?
Also,
pretty good,
I agree
pretty
with
good.
it. I agree with it. It is a very rogue theory because we do not have evidence. The only evidence we have is I dream of it, and that's the part where it stuck to me. I was like,
What do
why are
you
you
think she's
dreaming?
dreaming about? She's not just dreaming about having
Lame.
a vibranium vibrator, baby. She's dreaming
No, she actually
about
wants to
taking
make-
the world for herself.
or she wants to make all vibranium coins and then Scrooge McDuck it and swim, and that's her
Yes!
ultimate goal, just to swim
Right
through
here.
Sounds
all this
dangerous.
vibranium.
Scrooge McDuck pool of vibranium.
Of vibranium, just
That would
glowing,
not hurt
glowing.
at all.
No, not at all.
Oh my God. Okay, so up next, Zach has his own rogue Black
I know, and
Panther
I've
theory.
now set the table for people to
Here we go.
really come for
Let
me.
me practice. Let me practice.
Yeah, let me get.
Let me
Let me make sure my thumb pointing down is aggressive enough. Well, be sure to head on over to newrockstarsmerch.com where you can pick up some awesome new Rockstars merch, including our latest obsession shirt based on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This is a limited edition shirt, so be sure to grab it while you can. Check out all of our awesome merch options over at newrockstarsmerch.com. And we also want to thank our partners at Blue Chew for sponsoring Rogue Theory this week. Blue Chew can help give you that extra bit of confidence when it matters the most, and we know it always matters most. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable tablet, so you don't have to swallow anymore. You can just chew it, and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, morning, evening, twilight time, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever your opportunity arises. And let me tell you, it will arise. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part? It's all done online. So no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations. I hate talking to doctors. I'm always awkward. I always look to my mom. I'm 28 years old. And no waiting in line at a pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package, so no one will know. And we've got a special deal for you first-time listeners, or last-time listeners. Nope, not last time, all the time listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ROGUE at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code ROGUE to receive your first month for free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Hey, thank you to Blue Chew. Also, Wakanda Forever featured a lot of blue characters.
Sure did.
I don't know that we saw any of them chewing, but
We did.
Okay,
No,
wait,
wait, no,
some food eating.
We got the food. We got the food.
yeah, there were a lot of seaweed cultivation that I appreciated. Yeah.
If you didn't get a boner though, when Namor, oh god, it's my favorite part when M'Baku just comes up and tries to deck him from
and he's
behind,
like,
and he doesn't even flinch.
When he punches
man.
through the armor, that was the
Oh,
part where I was like,
what
I
a
thought he
man.
grabs his heart out, like straight up Indiana
I thought he
Jones.
was
Dude, I
dead.
thought
We got
so
the
too.
super slow-mo, Mortal
it.
Kombat kill screen.
I ate that up.
X-ray fatality. Was
I
I'm
love
not
it. I
kidding.
eat that up.
That was the hottest man I've ever seen in my life. In those moments, I was freaking out.
He's gonna be a problem. But also, we want to shout out our second and final sponsor for today's show. And this, I'm actually rocking the T-shirt that they sent along with this product, and we've got the actual physical products here. Our friends over at Iconic Cocktail Company. I spoke with the CEO of this company, Matt. Shout out. He's a fan of New Rockstars. Watches our content. Hopefully, he's watching Rogue Theory today. But if you like an adult libation every once in a while, and I gotta say, Daddy, every once in a while, as he's tucking in for the evening, appreciates a little nightcap, okay? And sometimes you can crack open a beer or get a glass of wine. But if you're at home and you just want to make yourself a nice little cocktail, these things are awesome. They have a bunch of different flavors. These are the two I've tried, cranberry thyme and spiced honey. The spiced honey is very nice. It's got Szechuan peppercorns in it. So it's got a little, lights up the mouth a little bit.
I had
Put
the
it-
vanilla
good,
coffee
actually.
one.
Oh, the vanilla one.
cocktail.
Yeah, I'm
I
looking
want
forward
one.
to trying
Give me
that.
one. I want to try.
This is really nice with bourbon or whiskey or different. They have different recipes for other kinds of alcohols, whatever you want to try. Iconic Cocktail makes all natural mixers and sodas for cocktails. All their products are made with real ingredients by real bartenders for really easy to make drinks. They're the ideal ingredient for the perfect cocktail or mocktail. And one thing I wanted to point out, we are recording this in the morning. Okay,
It
it would be inappropriate to be drinking alcohol at this time of day while at work, but you can mix these with just soda water and you get yourself a little mocktail. Or maybe you got people in your family or in your household that don't drink alcohol. They can still enjoy a little
You can
tasty
drink it
beverage.
straight too.
Yes.
Drink it straight out of the jar.
Ooh. Head to iconiccocktail.com. Over there, it's loaded with easy-to-search recipes as well as tips and tricks to add a little spirit to your home bar. You can follow their simple method for 3-step cocktails or explore over 150 unique recipes. We tried their Copper State Mule cocktail with the Ginga ginger syrup. Ginger? Ginger is
ginger.
probably how it
I think
would
it's
be.
ginger.
Hence ginger. And again, I've really enjoyed the spiced honey in some bourbon. Ooh, yes.
Ooh,
Nice way to tuck in for the
Nice.
evening. Put on some Samurai Jack old
Oh,
episodes
baby.
and
baby.
just let the day float away. You know what I mean?
Damn, Zach.
So discover some new cocktails for yourself and add a little spirit to your next drink by visiting iconiccocktail.com and use our promo code NewRockstars to get 20% off your order. Again, that's iconiccocktail.com for recipes, education, and more. And use promo code NewRockstars for 20% off. Thank you to Iconic Cocktails.
Perfect.
Nice.
You guys,
Nice.
up next. Don't warm up those boguses. Don't warm up those
Okay.
oguses. Only the roguses, you guys. It's time for our second rogue theory today, and for that, I'm going to pass the mic to Zach.
Thank you. And again, I've set the stage for lettuce skepticism, and I understand
no. It
that.
could be
That's the
good. It
trap
could be
I've set for
good.
myself. Well, like I think I loved this movie, and like I found like as much as they built a Wakanda in that first film that was so like fully realized and engrossing and beautiful and like felt real, I thought they did the same thing with Talokan in this film, right? Like even just the fact that they said like capital city for that. It's like, oh, there's a lot of other cities,
Yeah, well,
right?
so that's-
Like,
Yeah,
there's
there
more?
are.
it's like this is a full, like we got a little glimpse of the agriculture at the sports they play, you know, like
The market?
yeah, everything there. And so, and I love even the like the way Namor kind of like described his relationship with his people, that he's been preparing them for hundreds of years for war with the surface, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
his brain was so shaped by his experience with those like Spanish colonizers back in the day and what they did to his mother's homeland, so that like that has formed his whole worldview and that has influenced this whole society. And so I was really struck, and what led to my theory, that final scene we see of him, and I believe it's Namora, right? Like she comes into his cave as he's, you know, putting the newest
final
panel
touches.
on the Namor graphic or whatever, the graphic novel.
It was like cute that he did that.
What
Yeah.
happens when he
Wait, was
runs
he
out of
painting
wall?
or cleaning it? I
thought
thought
it was painting.
I thought it was
Because it's
cleaning.
a new one. It's the
It was
Panther.
a panther
I
fighting.
like the
Yeah.
idea that
Oh,
every
okay.
time he gets in a little fight, he draws a little picture of it.
Yes.
It's so
He's
cute.
like,
That's
I'm
why
gonna
there's
win
so
next
many of him and his mom probably from when he's younger. They got in a
Yeah.
lot of fights probably.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and
for
like,
sure. Every 57-year-old child does, because like think about it. When he was like a little kid, his mom had fully aged.
Oh, yeah.
So that was like a 57-year-old kid. That was wild to me.
Yeah, who was looked 11 or
He looked
whatever.
like- yeah,
Also,
exactly.
kudos to that 11-year-old actor. I gotta say,
good.
it's
Oh
tough.
my gosh.
I don't even have any lines, but just like the pathos that he showed in his facial acting and like the
Yes.
presence he had,
presence.
again, wearing green short shorts and
then
and
levitating
flying,
with the wings,
but
yeah.
still like making you feel in that moment.
They
But-
definitely casted like the angriest looking child.
Yes.
And it
Oh,
was
absolutely.
perfect. Those
Yes.
eyebrows were arched for anger.
Yes, yes. But so that final scene we see with Namor while he's finishing his wall graphic novel, and Namora comes in and she's like, "You bent the knee to Wakanda? You've literally told us all of our entire history as a people that like we are the best, like we will destroy the world, we will bring the surface people to their knees, and you bend the knee to one country, right?" And so, and you know, he has a good reasoning there, like, oh, they need an ally, we'll be their only ally, they'll turn to us the next time they get in trouble, sure. But here's what I think. My rogue theory, the next time we see Namor, the Talokans will have turned on him. And he will be an outcast of his own people. He will no longer be the leader of Talokan, and he will be forced. In fact, it's not Wakanda that's going to need him as an ally. It's him that's going to need Wakanda as an ally.
Okay.
And here's my reasoning. Again,
that.
he's this weird. He's separate from all of his people too, right? He's the only not blue dude down there, right? And he's kind of this like god leader character, right? Khan, right? As Winston Duke.
As Winston,
So, they call him Khan.
he took that, he ate it up. He's like, ready for this? Here, one take. And just,
Yeah.
I want that as my ringtone. Just Winston Duke saying that.
God, nope. I got a
So
text.
great the way he says it. But like, you know, and so he's built up this mythos of like, both he is a god figure to these people. He's made himself their god. They've made him their god, right? Like, and like they're this like warrior culture, and then he gets beat up. He loses, right? Like that, like totally. That's like you know, Jesus coming down and he can't turn water into wine,
Getting
and,
your ass
and
kicked.
everything. Yeah,
Or
Jesus gets.
as Whiplash says, when you see God bleed, people cease to believe in him. And you're right, he's the serpent god. He's not the king. He's not their leader. They
Yes.
literally think of him as a god. And
Yeah.
yet he bent the knee.
Yeah, and so much of his power is tied
Yeah.
up in this
Yes.
godlike stature in their
Yes.
mind. And so now that that's gone, right? Like I think that people are going to turn on him because again, in the comics, characters like Atuma
Yeah, I was gonna say.
are are adversaries
Yeah, they're
to
villains.
Namor. They're not on his side, right? Like, and kind of like, and I totally understand this movie had so much work to do, so much to explain, right?
Yes.
So they couldn't get into the nuance of Talokan culture and the sex and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not SECTS, not.
Oh,
But you know what I mean?
They didn't have time for that either.
The divisions
Podcast
and whatever. Right,
So-
right. Well, and kind of like, it also might have felt too repetitive with the Aquaman movie, right? Which really got into like all the divisions, the different groups of people that exist in the ocean. But it's the same in Atlantis in the comics, right? And like, and there are all these warlord Krang and like also like Piranha, and there's all these great like villains that are other Talokans that like fight or have been outcast, and they have their own bands of people that come for Namor. And there's like periods when like Namor leaves the underwater kingdom, and like different people take over, and then he tries to come back, and there's battles and stuff like that. So I think the people will turn on him. I think Attuma, Namora will meet other badass Talokans that are gonna like be like, we thought this dude was God, and he's not. He got beat up on a beach. You know what I mean? Like he got a wing
brought him
torn
to-
off.
Yeah, they brought him to
He's down to 3 wings.
They'll grow back.
We don't know. We don't know.
I have
He's
only two
not a
things.
salamander,
I have-
Jessica.
He is. The tail will grow back. You just gotta give it like 3 months. So 2 things. One, for hundreds and hundreds of years, he's been protecting those people and cultivating that world underneath. You think that they would outweigh that one time to these 100s of times?
Well, that's a great point. But like, think about Black Panther 1. The Black Panther had been protecting Wakanda since the beginning of their country, and they turned on him.
But,
right?
but
But
that's
he
a
was
title.
Killmonger.
That's a title. The Black Panther is a title,
was
as opposed to
As
Namor
opposed
is
to a
like the
god.
one.
But even
And
more
he is
so,
kind of
right? Like Black Panther was kind of dethroned, even though the T'Challa Black Panther was just as powerful as every Black Panther that had ever come before. He had the heart-shaped herb and a better suit than they probably had in the 30s or whatever,
That's
right?
so cool.
And that this Namor has been proven to be less powerful than they thought he was.
The only argument I would say to that is like the people in Talokan have lived so much longer than the people of Wakanda. So it's like they can cultivate trust much longer than the people of Wakanda could. And since they're in different regions, because we haven't seen the different regions of Talokan, of the Talokan people, that I think that like the Jabari, of course, have different views than the other tribes because they're like, we're in the freaking mountains. So it's like until we see those other Talokans, maybe then that's when like they can like actually be like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
But I feel like Namora and Attuma hold such regard to him because he still is also like, this is also just me thinking, I wouldn't go up against the strongest one of us. And he is technically stronger than Attuma and Namora. So it's like he can throw a helicopter. He's known to be stronger than Thor and the Hulk. I'd be like, yeah, whatever he says
But
goes.
then again, as we found at the end, you know, if he ends up going to Vegas, he's gonna be
That's
tapped
right.
out, and he can
That's right.
be so weak.
He can't fight you in
There's-
Scottsdale.
isn't there-
Yeah, that's right.
Damn, he ain't voting.
Can't fight you in the desert, exactly.
But it's also like how much of the world, it's more water than land, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, it's gonna be hard for us. Even at the desert, it was like, here's water, you can just go to it.
Well, and that is a really
also, does it
interesting
have to be
point.
seawater? Sorry, keep going.
Oh yeah, well,
Fresh
I
water?
mean, in theory, the Wakanda is not on the sea, so like the body of water.
there's
They said something like he
Yeah.
swam 2,000 kilometers or something like that.
something like that.
Like he came up through a river. Well, and another thing I think would be interesting, like we see Namor do like the most awesome stuff out of water, right? That's when he's grabbing helicopters. That's
yeah,
when
he's,
he's
like,
beating up in
skating,
Baku.
skating,
throwing up,
right?
right?
Fair, that's
Zigzagging.
because helicopters weren't under the water, Zach.
Well,
There
they
was
could
an
be.
underwater
They could be.
helicopter.
Oh, that's
then
true.
maybe
That'd be a
change it
submarine, but but I think what's interesting is like he's definitely more powerful than his people outside of water. They're still badass. They're still super
Yeah.
strong. Attuma on that bridge is beating
Also,
the hell out of
yeah.
a
when
Okoye, right? Like-
she was the only one that took out the sound, the booming sound
I
system that was blaring their
know.
ears.
Yes.
She was the only one that could swim through the sound barrier.
Yes.
And just
that was
Yeah, so
so
like
sick.
Namor and Attuma particularly are
Yeah.
powerful. But I wonder, right, like they're still not as powerful as him outside of water. They can't fly and like
Yeah, sure.
do some stuff like that. But like, I wonder actually underwater if the power levels
You
are a
think?
little bit
You think?
more. I mean, the flying doesn't help you underwater,
That's true.
right? Like,
Unless the wings make you swim faster.
They
Yeah,
did
'cause he's
mention
real
when they were
fast.
shooting at him that they were like, he's much like faster underwater than he is above water. because they're trying to shoot him with that gun,
point.
and he was straight up, zoom, he was a missile. But I do like, to say with me negging all these things, or being negative to all these things, I do like the theory that, because it's like, if he messes up again, I would definitely be like, okay, I'm not fighting with you anymore. Because, and it's like a 50-50 chance. So it's like, if he loses again, and also, not to be horrible, it is kind of true, but he literally was like, the most strongest person on the surface world is Shuri. And it's like, you don't know the rest of
He hasn't met Thor. He hasn't met a lot of people.
She is strong, don't get me wrong. But also, can you imagine going against her and the Hulk and Thor?
Well, and I'm just like speculating. And also, I so loved like that character, that performance. Tina Huerta is so good, right? And like,
And
there's
so
such
hot too.
and
Every time
like
it came
has
out
a
the water.
totally different vibe than all the other Marvel characters we've met. Like he's kind of a little sly. And again, Namor in the comics, right, is like one of the most famous anti-heroes, right? Like from the jump, he's been like quasi-villain. Like sometimes he's a good guy. Hey, if Atlantis and the rest of the world are aligned, I'll defend the world.
Yeah.
But if it's ever Atlantis and the rest of the world, the rest of the world's gonna pay,
guys
right?
gotta
Like,
pay.
and I love that. So like, just to see him again, if he gets outcast from his people and he's forced to kind of be on the surface world, we'll get him like a wetsuit or something like that, so he's cool, he's chill,
Wetsuit.
he's chill in New York
They're
or
always
whatever,
spraying
right?
him like a
yeah, we can get like a pickup truck hot tub or something like that
hell
he
yeah,
can
dude.
cruise around in.
Just
But
as a personal assistant who walks around with a super soaker,
Yes.
just getting him every once in a while.
But like, can you imagine him on a team? Can you imagine him on a Thunderbolts? Can you imagine him on some other version of an
think-
Avengers, right?
I think no, and I think that's why they made him so aligned with his people in Namora and Atuma. It's like, if he was on a team, which I don't think he can work on a team unless it's his people, it would just be disastrous in a good way. Like they'd be murdering people. Like he would he would be murking everybody in line of
and I
sight.
think, and also like you could also see, because again, he's 400 years old, he's been living in the ocean this entire time. Like he has a little bit of that like first Thor movie, fish out of water, pardon the pun. Right? Where it's like, he's like, Xbox. You know what I mean? Like,
What is this?
You know,
What
he,
is an
sorry.
Xbox?
You know, he reminds me of, which is, if you didn't watch House of the Dragons, he reminds me of Vagar, where it's just like, I'm old and I don't really care, but I just want to protect myself in what I have. So it's like, I'm just going to destroy anyone in my way as long as they're in my way.
It's like when Bucky tried to date, and it was just like, oh, you can't, man.
You
You're
can't
just
do it.
old.
You're
too
crazy,
old.
man.
I'm sorry.
You're 100
If
years
I say a
old.
random combination of code, you come back.
And
Snap my neck.
There's no Tinder account for like 100-year-old dudes who want
Maybe
25-year-old
underwater there is. We don't know.
Oh,
Maybe
that's
they're
true.
vibranium. Like
I still want Namor to join like Thunderbolts, Avengers,
God, I can't.
whatever, and just like, they're out fighting, and then they're like, they're doing like Battle of New York style fight, and then he looks over and he sees a sushi restaurant, and he's like,
Oh, hell no.
my people, you know what I mean? Like, and he loses it, and he.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, could you imagine if he ran into Captain America or Sam Wilson and they're fishing boat?
And he's shrimping?
And he's
Oh, yeah,
just
he's
like, he picks up that ship and throws it. And they're like, we just got a loan on it. We just did.
Exactly. He's gonna just cut it in half with his like. Oh
Okay,
gosh.
let's rate Zach's. Let's start with you, Tom.
I don't usually thumbs down a theory that often, and I'm not starting today. I'm gonna give that Rogus because you're exactly right. Atuma is a villain in the comics, and there's a lot more to this world, and they were not happy that he bent the knee. And that would be really good. That would be a really good way also to get him out of Talokan and get him onto the surface so that he can join the rest of the MCU. It's kind of hard for him to be part of the MCU if he's underwater and everybody's above land.
Yeah.
But if he's gonna be with the Thunderbolts instead of them going swimming, they can bring him out so he can skate around with them and do stuff.
I love nice guy Tom. First off. Second, I just want to throw in one other quick thing. Like at the end, when Shuri and Namor roll in on the plane and are like, "Hey guys, quit fighting!" Right? The Talokans are winning.
Yeah.
They've got
They are
like a little
about to
circle
win.
of
They're
Wakandans.
literally
four
killed
Wakandans.
They're
hundreds
like,
of people.
you're in our ocean. We've got thousands of us. We're about to whip you. And like, we saw like a smile on the face of M'Baku and Okoye or what, hey, yay. But like,
Nice.
we didn't see any Talokan smiles. They
they
weren't like,
actually
oh,
went.
good.
Also, it's like they regenerate. They can come back. The Wakandans cannot. When they started fighting, I was like, did you guys not listen to Okoye when she was like, I stabbed 3 of them and they came back?
And they came
I
back.
thought that they were gonna
Of
like
course you're
explore
gonna
that
die.
a little bit more because
Yeah.
that's a huge power of theirs that we just kind of glossed over.
Whitney brought this up. I talked about it in my review. The fact that they had like less than 2 years to get this all out after everything happened.
Man.
There's stuff that is not. It's not willing. It doesn't make or break the movie for me. But it's like they couldn't explore it more.
No, the reason why I bring it up is just a real quick side tangent. I actually had a little theory. I don't think I can even take credit for it. I heard it somewhere else. I'm sure it was too good. It's too good. But I thought that this was going to be a way to bring Killmonger back. They threw him in the ocean like he wanted. I thought they were going to find his body. I thought they were going to find the Talokan's were going to find his body, bring him back, and then he would somehow be involved now. And when I saw them come back to life, guys, I was like, oh shit, they're doing it. They're doing it. And then but then I saw him in the astral plane. I was like, oh damn.
Confirmed dead.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was going to be their way to bring him back, and then maybe if not in this movie, 5 movies down the line, Killmonger could get a redemption arc like Loki, maybe, and become a Black Panther for real. I don't know. That's just what I
wouldn't be surprised after all that time from when his mom first ingested the plant, if they have created something that's like, yeah, we can just give it to the dead and they can revive with the same Talokan, like their gills.
Maybe he was dying. Maybe he wasn't dead. They threw him in the ocean.
And there is some nuance there, right? Because they also killed the Talokan when she shoots Lupita Nyong'o. I always forget that character's name.
Okoye.
Nakia.
Nakia.
Right?
Yeah, sorry,
she kills the woman in the cave, right?
Yes.
And they're like, oh, this is going to be bad. So it's like, we know they can die, but we also know that like getting stabbed with a vibranium spear does not kill them, right?
Okay. Keep that in mind.
What are the
Note
levels
that.
of dying? Like, how strong does it have to kill you for it to actually kill you?
It could be. It could also be the warriors, and that's why it's like these are the people that stay and gather. We're the warriors. We're the fighters, the ones that can regenerate. Which we didn't have time to explore, and we could explore.
One thing I just thought of is, what if it's vibranium related? Because the vibranium sword, somehow they can counteract vibranium, but a sonic weapon that's just nothing. Maybe that's why she's like, oh, can you save me? I can't.
Well, because she was gonna help her with the Okoye or the beads, and then she was like, "We'll get in." This is another rope theory.
Yes, we got weeks and weeks.
We got a lot of content, guys.
We will come back to this. Keep it on. I'm giving that a Rogus because I genuinely liked it, and Zach came with evidence, which I did not.
Dude, definitely Rogus. I also thought that because, like you already said, it's just you can't come back from it after you have convinced an entire people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people across, and like you also said, that's just the capital. That's just the capital. They could be all over the goddamn ocean floor, and all of those people for so many years kind of basically wasted their time believing that this dude was just gonna like lay siege to anyone, and now they have to deal with the fact that he's actually like, I don't know, like he's making reasonable decisions based on new information that he gathers as he goes.
Like, I disagree with it still.
Yeah, like,
diplomacy.
So it's like,
he's learning what?
He's learning. He has empathy. He's growing as a person. Like, but I can see why everyone else would be like, you fucking wasted our time, you piece of shit. No. And then they overthrow him. They try to make him into sushi. Can't wait.
So that's 3. Do you give yourself a Rogus?
Well, sure.
Okay, that's 4
Are you
Rogus.
allowed
I didn't
to do
even
that?
give myself
You didn't even vote.
You know what? After you came at me, maybe I deserve a bogus. So I got 2 boguses and 2 Rogus.
Wait, no.
No, I understand my flaw. You guys, it's time for a real question. Now that Riri Williams has officially joined the MCU as the power-suited Ironheart, it's your turn. What would be your name as an armored mech suit wearer in the MCU? And this better be good.
What a great question.
Ooh.
I know. Think on it for a minute.
Okay.
You guys got a minute.
I can't think of one.
Okay, so like having a metal pun or something like that would be helpful if that's.
I got mine. I'd be Tom Tanium.
Oh, that's a good
there it is.
I like that.
Titanium.
Great.
I love that. That's a
really
good one.
That's really
It's not
good.
Titanium Man. That way, if someone takes up the mantle after me, let's say Tommy Bechtold, who's the better Tom, obviously. If he wanted, he could also be a Tom Tanium.
Don't
I'm
slander
just saying, or a
yourself.
girl could be a Tom Tanium.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
Yeah, Thomasina.
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 I'm gonna be. You know what? Here's my thing. I am a physically weak person. Okay, I do not have a strong constitution. I would fold under pressure. Don't handle stress well. So like, I think I would want to be Tin Can Sam. It would be my name. Okay, it would be not bulletproof. You know what I mean? A strong wind would probably rip an arm off.
I never
or
said
whatever.
I was good.
Or like aluminum foil back.
I'm going Zach's route, and I'm going to be called Steely Can. And I'm just also a can, but I only play Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
Yeah, smooth jazz. Hell yeah.
You guys, no metal sounds like the name Whitney. I'm having a hard
Nothing sounds like
time.
Jessica, that's why I want a Steely Can. Steely Can.
Well, if a can was thinking it'd be a can landing.
I know, I was going to say, but see, they both already took cans, so I can't do that.
How about Whitney Van Lanamantium?
That's actually a pretty good one.
That's
It's a mouthful.
stronger
I could
than.
also do Whitney Vibrating Hand.
Oh, there!
There it is.
Better.
Ooh, that's the strongest of all.
I'm gonna give that one to Whitney because Whitney
Thank you. I struggled really hard to
It's a
give
very
you
good
that
one.
answer.
Titanium.
Second place definitely goes to Zach.
What, Titanium? Is that
Titanium's
that
was
quick?
genuinely so
Titanium
good.
sounds really well.
These ones were very
Real.
funny, and I love it. And
Got it, I see
the
what
last time I hosted Rogue Theory was exactly this: me voting for the funniest one.
accept that.
You guys, as Rogue Theory is, everybody is a winner. Everybody wins except for me. That's it for this episode of Rogue Theory. Thanks to our guests Tom Michelson, Whitney Van Landingham, and Zach Huddleston. Support our channel by checking out all our awesome merch over at newrockstarsmerch.com. Follow me at Lulu_Clemens. Follow New Rockstars on all social media platforms. And be sure to subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. See you next time.
Bye.